So here again, we are at the job of learning how to read Hebrew. And what we've done so far in past meetings, we learned the Hebrew vowels, and we are learning the Hebrew letters one by one. If you put those two together, 22 Hebrew letters and those 6 vowels, you can read perfectly, because the vowels tells you exactly how to read the letters, right? So it's simple enough. Here are the vowels. Just because it's so important, we're going to go over them real quick again. The first one is the vowel for ah sound, and that is accomplished by putting a horizontal line underneath the letter. Any one of those horizontal lines would work. And the difference is only grammatical. So at this point, when you're learning just to read, you don't really need to know the difference. You just, anytime you see a horizontal line, that will imply that it's an ah sound, and that's what you do. The e sound is 2 horizontal dots, or the 3 hanging grapes. One of those is an a sound. A letter with the letter Yud next to it, which is the letter Yud is the 10th letter of the alphabet. It's the smallest letter, and it's used occasionally as a helper, grammatical helper. In this case, the Yud next to a letter makes the letter sound as an E sound. A dot under the letter also makes an E sound. The dot on top of a letter and the letters Vav, which is the 6th letter of the alphabet, the letter Vav with a dot on top next to a letter will make an O sound. A letter and a letter Vav next to it with a dot in the middle makes an U sound. And that sound can be accomplished also by putting 3 diagonal dots underneath the letter. So either 3 diagonal dots underneath the letter, or the letter Vav with a dot in the middle makes an U sound. And the last one, of course, is the sound, which is a very short vowel, and it's used in words like bug and other words when you need a short vowel. The letters that we learned so far are the Aleph, numerical value 1. We have the letter Bet, and we mentioned that the letter Bet with a dot in the middle, the dot makes the letter Bet strong, and it becomes a B sound. Otherwise, without the dot, it's a V sound. It becomes soft. So we have the Aleph, the Bet, the Gimel, the 3rd letter, numerical value 3, the Dalet, numerical value 4, the Hey, 5, so the Hey is 5, and the Vav is 6. Among those letters, we already can see several what we call connectors. Now, the connectors in Hebrew are letters that will be attached to a word beforehand, like a prefix. So the letter Bet is such a prefix. The letter Bet is a connector, and it means in something. And it comes in 2 forms. One form is Be, like in here, Be, and the other form is Ba, like in here. So we have a in, this one is in too. But when I say in and use this form, I mean in a. When I use this form, I mean in the. So if you call me up and ask me on the phone, where are you? And I say, I am in a car. You don't know which car it is, because I'm not telling you. I'm saying in a car. So the letter Bet with this vowel is Be Auto. So if I say be-auto, it means I'm in a car. If I say I'm ba-auto, it means I'm in the car. So now you know that I'm in my car. You know which car it is, because I said in the car. Interestingly enough, looking at this, if you go to the first letter of the Hebrew Bible, is the letter Bet, and it's used in this form. So grammatically, at least, we don't want to open a theological argument, but at least grammatically, it says in a beginning, because it's used that form and not this one. So this is something interesting that just from the grammar of reading the verse and the letters and the vowels can tell you something about the content of the text, which otherwise you don't have. And if, of course, if you have a translation and the translator decided to go this way and not this way, it tells you in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Absolutely, you have no clue that this is taking place, that this under the surface, this is happening. So the vowels sometimes shed light on an extra knowledge that comes out of the text. And this is why it's so important to know the vowels and to know the letters, because you put them together, and when you start reading, you go way below the surface of what you read in an advanced understanding. So we have the Aleph, the Bet, the Gimel, the Dalet, the Hey, and the Vav. And today we're going to move to another letter. Let me show you real quick. In the Aleph Bet book, you will see the letter Zayin. And let me show it to you on the string of letters too. Here are the Hebrew letters. Let's go over them one more time. Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yud, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samech, Ayin, Pei, Tzadik, Kuf, Resh, Shin, Tav. And that's the song of the Hebrew letters. We went over all 22 letters. And right now, we're learning a new letter, which is the letter Zayin. The letter Zayin is written with a little wiggle on the top. As you can see, it doesn't take the entire universe. It doesn't take the entire box. It has a little wiggle on the top and a straight down line motion. So what you have is something that is similar to like a little T, but it's not. We do not want it to look like a T. So we have a little wiggle on the top and a down line. So this is the letter Zayin. And the letter Zayin represents, if the letter Vav represented the completion and the wholeness of the material world, the letter Zayin represents the completion and the wholeness of our Creator. Because the letter Zayin is numerical value 7. And as you know, in the creation, the number 7 plays a big role. We have a lot of things with the number 7. So the letter Zayin represent all of the wholeness of the completion of the material world, but it also have the 7th, the Shabbat, the Sabbath, which is the 7th spiritual part of the creation that God puts in motion. So this is the spiritual part of the creation, and 7 represent the wholeness of the entire universe. It's a number of wholeness. So the letter Zayin, little wiggle on the top, and it goes down. And you could see that in the slide that shows how to write the letter from the Aleph Bet book that we're using in this class, in this course. And you can see stroke by stroke how to do the letter. Is the wiggle at the top and you go down. So this is how we do the letter Zayin. So now we have 7 letters to utilize in reading. What we can do is put some words up here. Here is one. Okay? To read this word, of course, we go right to left. We have the letter Zayin, which is the sound of Z, with the sound right from here. Z. Then we have an Aleph with an A sound underneath. Aleph with an A sound. Z, A. And here's the letter Bet. It does not have a dot in the middle to make it a B, quite so to a B, but it's a V sound. So we have Z, E, V. Ze'ev happened to be a wolf in Hebrew. But as I said before, these are just exercises. Let's try another one. Here is an Aleph, a Vav, and a Bet, and a dot on top. Now an Aleph and a Vav next to it and a dot on top comes right from here. It's an O sound. So we have O, and then we have a vet, because it doesn't have a dot that will make it a bet. So it's a V sound. The way we read it is Ov. So here is transliterating Ze'ev and Ov. Let's do another one. Here is the letter Bet. The letter Bet with a dot inside, that makes a B sound. And the vowel of A comes right from here. So we have a Ba. And then the letter Zayin, Z. So we have Baz. Baz. It's a biblical name for one of the birds in the Bible. But that's just an exercise. How about another word? Here is the letter Dalet. Next to it, the letter Bet. But on top of the Dalet, I have a dot. So that makes it an O sound. Here is your Dalet with an O sound, Do, and a Vet, because it doesn't have the dot in the middle. So it's only a V sound, it's not a B. So Dov. Dov happened to be a bear in Hebrew. Just happened. Here is another one. That's a good word. You have a Zayin with an A sound right from here. Zayin with an A sound, Za. Then we have a Hey with an A sound, Ha, and a Vet. Note that in the middle. That's a V sound. Za, Hav. Zahav is gold in Hebrew. So for those of you who are interested in gold, you can go to Israel and buy Zahav. Zahav, and this one is Dov. Another one, let's do another one. Here is the letter Aleph, Gimel, Vav, and a Zayin. We have the letter Aleph with an A sound, A. Then a Gimel with a Vav and a dot on top, O. So A, Go, and a zayin. Egoz. Egoz is a nut. So here it is. So you can see as we accumulate a little bit more letters, we start to be able to have more words and more complicated words and have words with more than 2 letters, and we expand our ability to read this way. The next letter is the letter Het. Now, the het Het is interesting. Here it is on the string of letters. Right here, it's number 8. It's the letter number 8. And it's a sound that we do not have in English. It's pronounced Het. Het. It comes right from your throat. It's a guttural sound. It comes from your throat. And obviously, we don't have that sound in English. We have it in many Middle Eastern languages, but in English, we don't. It usually revert to an H sound in English-speaking people. But at least I want you to know that it has a distinct sound, which is Het. And it comes right from the middle of your throat. And let's take a look at that. Here is the letter Het in that little universe. It goes front to back, and then top to bottom, and then top to bottom again. So you can see that the letter Het is connected at the top. And what does this remind you? Look at the letter Hey, which is exactly the same, except there is an opening at the top. So if we pull that little leg of the Hey a little too high in writing, we might mistake it for a Het. So we have to be a little careful when we draw the Hey to leave that space, that much space at the top, so we will not mistake it for the Het. Now, what is the Het, which is number 8? It represents the supernatural, because we went through Vav, number 6, which was the completion or the wholeness of the physical world. Then we went to the Zayin, which was number 7, representing the completion of the physical and spiritual world. And then we're coming to number 8, Het, which represents the ability of man to penetrate those boundaries of physical limitations and go into the spiritual reality if he exert the right amount of effort. So what you see in the Bible many times when the text is telling you about something holy or something that is above the natural, you'll see that it's talking in terms of number 8. We have most of the things that are related to the tabernacle are in 8s. You have the 8 days before the circumcision, right? So you have the 8 days. You have 8 little strings in the tzitzit, in that little garment that we wear, and we have 8 strings in it. Why? Because to remind you that every day and every minute you can overcome the physicalness. You can become spiritual and closer to God. So this is a reminder. You touch it, you see it, it reminds you of how high you can go, because we can go pretty low. We need reminders as we go through life that we are made in such a way that we can actually go much higher than we think we can. So this is the number 8, the het. Let's do a few reading exercises with the letter het. How about this? I have a het and a vav next to it and a dot on top. Right from here, it's an O sound. So I have ho and then a zayin with an A sound right from here. Ho ze. What is this hey doing here? The letter hey that is not voweled. It's one of those 4 ahoy letters that we talked about. And those letters are grammatical helpers. And they help us read things. When it's not voweled, that letter has no sound. So it's here for grammatical reasons. And we read the word Jose. Jose is a prophet. And it comes from the word chaza, which is to foresee. So a prophet who foresees. Jose. It's not like Jose, a name in Spanish. Or maybe it's taken from that. Who knows? How about chazeh? You have a het, you have a zayin, and a hey. Het with an a sound, ha, and then we have a zayin with an a sound, ze. And of course the hey is there grammatically, but since it's not voweled, you can't hear it. Chazeh is chess. And just an interesting question, you can ask yourself, why is in the Hebrew those 2 words are so close to each other? Jose is a prophet, and chazeh is a chest. Many times you'll find connections like this, and it's always an interesting quest to try to find out what's the connection. Let's try another one. Here's the letter bet, the letter dalet, yud, het, and a hey. See, now we can do complicated words like this because we have 8 letters to work with. So here is the letter bet with an eh sound. Then the letter dalet with an e sound, yud next to it, just right like here. Then we have the letter het with an a sound from here. And the letter hey with no vowel. So the word is read be, di, ha. Bedicha is a joke in Hebrew. So just happened to be. Let's try another one. I'm sure a lot of people are going to like this one. We have the letter het and a vav next to it and a dot on top. That combination comes from here. A letter and a vav and a dot on top. The letter vav is the 6th letter of the Aleph Bet, and it's used to help us grammatically. So we have ho, and then a vet, because there is no dot in the bet, and it's read hov. Hov is debt, like when I owe you money. So hov. This one is transliterated like this. And you notice that I use the CH to represent the letter het. But obviously, CH is a ch sound. We don't have anything better to do because in English we don't have the het sound. So we use that, but in the back of your mind, remember that it's not exactly the same pronunciation. It's a het sound and not a CH. What else? We can do another one. similar word. Okay, we have a het and a vav, and a dot on top comes right from here. It's an O sound. We have a ho, and then we have a vet and another vet. That's an A sound, hovev. Hovev is someone who's a hobbyist of some kind. So how do we get from hov, which is a debt, to hovev, which is a hobbyist? Maybe your hobby is to collect debt. Just a joke, bedicha, as we said before. So I leave you with that puzzle. Thank you for joining us in learning something about reading and writing Hebrew today. I hope that this program will motivate you to continue in your quest for more knowledge and understanding of God's Word. I would like to invite you to visit our website at www.musicfromgod.com, musicfromgod.com, to explore some of our products and Hebrew learning aids. Make sure to order the Aleph Bet book and CD that will complement the teachings you are watching on this station and help you practice and understanding better. Learning Hebrew